everyone, it's Gina from orchidandopal.com, and today I'm bringing you a quick video tutorial about how to create one of these square knot sliding closures for a bracelet to make it easily adjustable. And it's something that you can use with all different sizes of cord. As you can see, I have two examples here, and I'll be using a larger size down below so that it's easier for you to see what I am doing. But of course, the overall principle is the fact that you have this strip here that creates a closure that makes a bracelet easily adjustable and slide open and close just like that. So I've done a sliding knot tutorial in the past for one that has 2 knots, one on either side if you want to check that out. And this is just another alternative that I think you'll really enjoy whether or not you're making a fully macrame bracelet or not. So I have an example here. This is a very simple macrame bracelet using a square knot technique with an open connector in the center. And I've left 2 of these lengths of my cord on either side after I finish the overall knotting of the bracelet. And again, you don't have to do a macrame bracelet for this particular adjustable closure. You could just bead onto a length of cord and have 2 ends. But that's basically what you want to start with, is having 2 lengths of cord left on either side that you are going to take and cross over each other just like that. Now for this tutorial, I'm using some 1mm coated colorful cord that I got from Beebeecraft.com. It came in a whole multi-pack assortment of all different colors. I'll leave the link to that cord right down below the video if you want to know what I'm using. And I also have a coupon code I'll leave down below as well. I do happen to like the coated cords a little bit more because they tend to hold their knots in place a little bit better than something that is very slippery. So I'll be using a contrasting color, that way you can tell difference between the square knot closure that I'll be making for this bracelet and the original 2 cord ends. But it's actually very simple. So I have about 1 foot in length of my cord here. It's probably more than I'll need, but I like to have a little bit extra just in case, since it's easier to work with. And I'm just going to slide my new piece of cord right underneath those 2 that are crisscrossing there. And I'm going to tie a very simple overhand knot with this new piece of cord, trying to keep each end of that cord even so that they're approximately the same length. Now you don't want to tie this too extremely tight because, again, the idea is that these 2 cords are going to be able to slide open and closed without too much difficulty. And one tip I have, if you're working on a hard surface, you can tape these 2 cord ends down if you don't want them to move. But pretty much for now, just ignore these turquoise cords altogether. Just pretend they don't exist, and let's focus on this dark blue cord. Don't worry about where this first knot is placed. Just have it somewhere near the side or the middle so that you can get going. Again, this is going to slide, so you will have some flexibility. What you want to do is take the right-hand side of your cord first, the one that you're knotting with, and pass it under all of those turquoise cords from the bracelet itself. Then you're going to set it over top of the left-hand side of the cord you're knotting with, and then pick up the other cord that's on the left-hand side, pass it over the top, and just go through the loop, just like that. And this is how you make your square knot. And as you pull this right up to that first overhand knot that we made, and pull it reasonably tight. Again, not too tight, but tight enough that it's going to sit right next to that first knot. Then next you're going to do the opposite. So you're going to take the left-hand cord this time, pass it underneath those turquoise cords and over top of the cord on the right. Then take the cord on the right and pass it over top of that one and through the loop that's on that side. And then pull both sides together and slide it up to the knot that you made before. I like to repeat this at least 2 more times, so making a total of, say, 6 knots after that overhand. So again, taking my right hand cord, passing it underneath the turquoise cords and over top of the other blue one, picking up the blue cord on the other side, and passing it through the loop. and then pulling both sides of the cord up to those other knots. Now it's time to take the left-hand side, pass it underneath the turquoise, over top of the dark blue, pick up the other dark blue, pass it through the loop, and pull. You can see this square knot closure starting to come together. Let's do one more round. And again, you can see already that it still is able to slide, but it's also starting to be more secure. Pull that again so it's tight against the other cords, and just try to keep the same tension as you go. Pull nice and tight, and finish up by doing one more on the left. Taking the left cord, passing it under the turquoise and over the other blue. Taking this blue on the right, over and through the loop. And pull. And that's actually the same technique that I used to create this entire bracelet. If you were to do simply a square knot macrame bracelet, you'd end up with a length of cord that looks something like this. That's no different from the technique that I'm using to create this adjustable sliding knot closure. And what I would normally do is use the same color that I already used in the bracelet, and that way it will blend right in. You're welcome to make this closure longer if you want to. It just all depends on how long you want to make your bracelet. But as you can see, if I pull this, it will pull both ends of the bracelet right up to that closure. And alternately, I can also still slide these out to make it even more adjustable. And now what I like to do, give this one final pull just to make sure that that last loop hasn't loosened up on you at all. And I like to hang on to one side of this nice and tight like that. And then I take my scissors, I will trim this side pretty close to where the knots are, leaving a little bit of fray. And then I will take a lighter. I have a USB lighter with me at this moment, and make sure you're allowed to use one if you are a younger viewer. And you can take any kind of lighter you want, but you basically are just going to put that toward that end of cord to start to melt it a little bit, and then press that into the other piece of cord. Now I got a little bit close on that one, so it got a little bit darker, which is fine if you're using a darker color, but if you're using a lighter color, maybe try to hold that flame just slightly away from the cord just so it starts to melt but not burn. So now that that one has melted in, I'm going to turn this and then take the other side where I'm going to trim this off, sort of close. All right, so I'm going to start by trying to hold this a little bit further away and just melting that end of cord instead of burning it. Pushing that into the side of the other cord as I go. With my finger, kind of melting it together and fusing it. There we go, got a little burn, but that's okay. But that's the overall idea of this adjustable sliding knot. Again, you can use glue, you can use nail polish if you want to, you can knot down the other end. I just like to keep it less bulky if possible, and I find that with this material in particular or other wax cords, that carefully burning down the edges works really well. And again, try not to get too close or you might darken up that cord. Now though, when you put it down, you can see that your bracelet is adjustable. You can easily still pull these cords apart, but it's not so loose that it's just going to loosen up on its own, which is what you want. Now finally, what do you do with these ends? Well, first of all, you want to make sure that you are tying off these ends while your bracelet is not all the way tight. You want to leave a little bit of room, depending on how big your bracelet needs to be. Maybe try that by sliding this over your wrist and seeing just how wide you need it to open at its widest point before you're able to close it down on your wrist. I know for me in this bracelet, I'm going to leave, say, approximately 3/4 of an inch on either side. And you have different options here as well. You can either add a bead or 2 beads, one on each cord, or one larger whole bead on both cords, and then you can tie a knot below the bead and clip off the excess thread. That bead will stop the thread from going through that sliding knot closure that you just created. Or you can simply tie a knot on either side of your thread. It's up to you if you'd like to do 2 separate knots right here on either cord, or tie these together creating 1 knot, which is what I will do this time around. So I'm just going to take these 2 and I'm going to loop this end around my finger, create a loop, and bring those 2 ends right through the loop, making sure I'm leaving enough on the side to keep this adjustable, and then just tying that down, pulling on those ends just like that. And I'll do the same on the other side. So make a loop, bring the cord ends through the loop, make sure you have the correct adjustable amount over here, and just tighten up that knot on the other side, making sure they're kind of like at the same distance apart. So just like that. Now you can pull these cords really tight because you don't want those to come apart. Those are going to keep your cord from going through that closure, as you can see. At this point, you can test out your bracelet. Just make sure that you have the knots where you want them. You can always take these out at this point and place them closer or further away if you need to. I'm good with this. I've pulled this overhand knot nice and tight. And again, I'm just going to trim my cord close to the knot, leaving a little bit of fray that I can go back and burn down and melt up to that knot and kind of fuse that into itself. So I have that end melted down. Again, you can use glue if you would rather do that. And I can do the same thing on the other side, just to get rid of that excess length of cord. And that is how you create a quick and easy sliding square knot macrame closure for a bracelet. You can just take those ends now and slide them closed, open them up when you want to put that over your wrist. And again, tighten them up, super simple. Well, that's all I have for now. Hopefully this tutorial explained easily to you how to create a sliding square knot closure for a bracelet. Such a versatile and helpful concept to know for a huge variety of different types of jewelry, and also for use with all different types of cord. Once again, I will leave the links down below to the products that I used today, as well as a coupon code to beebeecraft.com, where you can find lots and lots of different types of cord, particularly wax cord in all different colors and sizes. And feel free to check out the other option for sliding knot cord that I will try to link in the corner if you're looking for another technique. Huge thank you to you all for being with me today. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, I hope you'll give it a big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button while you're here, because I'd love to have you back for future videos. I'll be back again real soon. In the meantime, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And as always, happy beading.